She said recording.
Yeah, he does agree.
All right.
Bring it 1:30 in the morning. Congratulations.
I am going to call to order the, let's see, the Planning and Zoning Board meeting of Tuesday, November 9th. It's 6:02, and the meeting has begun. So that's the call to order. Our next order of business is the adoption of the agenda. So everyone has the agenda. Is there a motion to adopt?
I will move that we adopt the agenda as submitted.
We have a motioner. Is there a seconder?
I will second that motion.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? That the adoption of the agenda passes unanimously. The third order of business is the approval of the minutes. The minutes have been distributed to everyone. These are the minutes of October 12th, 2021 meeting. Are there any corrections, changes to the minutes? Seeing none, is there anyone who will make a motion to approve?
I will make a motion to approve the minutes.
We
I'll
have
second that.
We have a motioner and we have a seconder. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion passes unanimously. Our next order of business is our public comment period. Members of the public are invited to address the planning board. Public comment is not intended to require the board to answer any impromptu questions or to take any action on items brought up during the public comment period. Speakers will address all the comments to the board as a whole and not one individual member. Discussions between speakers and members of the audience will not be allowed. Time limits are 3 minutes per person, 5 minutes per group. Please identify yourself so that your statements can be recorded. We have someone who wishes to speak at public comment. Yeah. It's all good. You have many talents, Sarah Benson, many talents. So if you'll identify yourself as a commenter.
Sarah Benson. I live at 309 Agona Street in the town of Manteo.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of our planning board, our town manager, staff, friends. I wanted to just take a moment to say thank you to Sherry. I believe that this might be her last meeting as our chair. I've had the privilege of getting to know her and working with you, Sherry, on Preservation Architectural Review Committee. Yeah. And I know I speak for all of them, as well as the working group, just to say that what a joy your effective leadership has been, and how you extend the hand of hospitality to all of the members that you worked with, and also you can see it happening on this planning board as well. Your love for our town is beautiful to watch because it echoes wherever you go. And I want to thank you for setting the tone now as you move right into an elected position. We are counting on you, and we will be there to help you. So thank you for your stellar leadership and your love for our town.
Oh, thank you so much. Really appreciate those kind words. Thank you. And you're correct. I will be moving from the planning board, but I will also be moving away from park, because generally it's the planning board chair who, or I think chair generally, who serves on park. So that will be another change. So anyway, thank you so much for your kind words. I can't tell you how much they mean to me. So, alrighty then. I think that is it for the public comment period, so we will close the public comment period, and we will go on to the next thing in line, which is new business, and that is the review of the Davis Lot site plan. And I'm going to turn that over to Planner Dickerson for her staff report, as well as explanation of what this plan looks like.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I've just had to close the Adobe because it wasn't reading the file. I'm going to walk over there because this is not picking up the mouse. So just give me just a second.
Sure, go right ahead.
You can hit the little plus sign up top too, and that'll make it bigger. Up in the center.
Yeah, that's us. But I think okay, any tweaking might be difficult from this. I don't know if this thing's running out of battery or what, but anyway, you have the plans in front of you, and I provided to you all a staff report that was very brief. These are the plans for the Davis lot. It is so we'll start at the top left-hand corner, which would be the northwest corner. There is a plan for an enclosure to house the roll carts associated with Poor Richard's Restaurant. They are currently not there, but they used to be, and they need to be relocated from the current location. So that will be a wooden enclosure with some landscaping around it. And then the path that you see that winds throughout the site, it is planned for those to be pavers. Of course, on the boardwalk side, there is, those pavers do exist in the CAMA area of environmental concern, so the town has received a CAMA permit for this work. A building permit is not required, so I provided to you all in the packet the zoning permit, which is what, as we will approve when you all approve the site plan. If you all have questions, I'm happy to answer them. I will note that Member Goodman asked and noted that on the legend, the stars along the path are not defined, and those are bollards very similar to the ones that are on the path at the town common.
What was the term you used, Melissa?
Bollards, they're solar
Light
bollards.
Oh, gotcha, light
Yeah.
fixture. Okay, thank you.
And they're not on tall poles,
They're like
Yeah.
short.
high.
Yeah,
Ground level.
ground level. So does anyone have any questions for Planner Dickerson? Anything, any,
No, I think it looks good. It's,
Yeah.
It looks good, but what is
Nice
the
improvement.
elevation of it? Because I know that every time we get a 4 or 5 day northwester, there's always that much water there.
yeah, that was my concern too, is and the grading.
Do you know what the elevation of that is?
I do, but I don't think it is on.
yeah, I think it's on the back sheet. C301
Yeah.
has elevations along the little curve edge.
It looks
Yeah.
like 2.5 feet.
2.5.
And it has French drains, which I was glad to see. Drainage was something we were concerned with, and I noticed that French drains are in the plan.
Good.
Because I couldn't tell what these were when I looked at it at home, it was just too doggone small.
And there
2.5.
is, to the point of the pavers, there will be material that holds them in place, so they're not, I mean, they're going to be locked in place. But, of course, the deed restriction requires that there be no permanent structures, so we've had to be pretty innovative about the materials and the way that this gets accomplished, even down to the site furnishings, the tables and things, and how they are fastened to the site. So everything will be fixed, but, not,
Theoretically removable.
that's right.
Right. So, Fields, did you get your question answered? Are you,
I think Hal just said it was 2.5.
yeah, do you have anything to add to that or concerns about that?
Just what type of shrubbery is there, because I know it's going to be prone to being underwater.
It's
Yeah.
all salt tolerant, yes, salt tolerant.
Salt tolerant and okay underwater. So, could you explain the French drains? That might be of interest.
So they're really just inlets that pipe to areas that are lower, and then they'll kind of drain into areas that are rocked beds, so the water has somewhere to go to drain into. But there will be rocks, you won't see the water that's standing.
Keeps it from puddling up, so to speak.
Yeah,
Just
it
kinda
won't,
goes
Okay.
there and
it
just
won't puddle,
pulls it
yeah. If you
down.
look at, the elevation on the walkway, they show is 2.5, and the invert elevation on those drains is 1.8.
Right.
So obviously, they're gonna grade away from the walkway down to the drains.
It'll be a little swell, and on the condo side, the waterfront condo side is where those rocked beds will be.
So any pollution or any grit, that will go into that infrastructure that you were talking about earlier?
Actually, this storm drain this drains into the street, and the street drains into a storm drain that does not have a oil grit
vortex.
separator on it.
Okay. Okay.
That's the Queen Elizabeth Avenue outfall.
Okay.
That doesn't have a treatment.
Are we concerned about?
You'll get a little bit of minor filtration just because each one of those drains is surrounded by a little bed of stone. And you have kind of a gravel filter there that's going to collect some of the debris. And you shouldn't have too much oil coming off of this. There's not going to be any vehicles using it.
Right, well, that's true.
It'd just be grit type debris, which, that gravel filter should catch a lot of that.
Which was my other question, and that is, speaking of grit, is the wind. We were standing there, I think it was yesterday, and it's like you needed something to hold on to in order to, it's just it's an alleyway of wind.
Mm-hmm.
And so speak to how the pieces that you've selected here, how they're windproof or wind resistant, and nothing's going to go airborne and stick into
right.
the building or anything like that?
They are, so the furnishings will be mounted in the ground.
So there's no opportunity for anything to go airborne, except for the people who are trying to.
They can chain themselves to the
Yeah, right.
That's right. So if you're familiar with the current furnishings on the site, obviously there are the picnic tables that are movable at this point. The green benches that face, well, one of them, there's some on the boardwalk side, and then there are two now that remain that face Queen Elizabeth Avenue, and how those are set in the ground. That's how these furnishings, including the tables and the benches with them, will be.
Great. All right, thank you. Are there any other questions or any other comments? So is there a motion? Would anyone like to make a motion?
I'll move that we approve the preliminary drawings as submitted.
We have a motioner for approval of the drawings that have been submitted. Is there a seconder?
I'll second.
We have a seconder. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the site plan for the Davis lot improvements has been passed unanimously. Very well. So the next thing on the agenda is board member comments. And I guess tonight I would like to break with protocol, if that's okay with everybody. And I'd like to begin our planning board commissioner reports. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead. So as you all know, I was elected last Tuesday to the Town of Manteo Board of Commissioners. So while this is truly a great, great honor, it does require me to leave this seat and my colleagues here. And so I just wanted to say that the past 2 years that I have served with you all and staff has been really an incredible journey. So we have looked at so many issues and topics. We've reviewed them. We've made recommendations to the Board of Commissioners, and it's just an amazing amount of material that we have gone through. So I've just been here 2 years, but I know there are a couple of you who've been on for much longer than me. But just to give you an idea, this is what 2 years on the planning board looks like. I feel like I'm in graduate school. It's been incredible. So over the past 2 years, we've reviewed and recommended on issues and topics as diverse as this long list. Boat lifts, affordable housing, stormwater fill and runoff management, flood zone changes, the College of the Albemarle, accessory dwellings in Manteo, ATM machines, the town common, proposed new building in Marsh's Light, Pirates Cove, and other undeveloped land. We've looked at plans for new buildings the town wishes to build, such as the new pumping station in George Washington Creve Park, the bathrooms at the Town Common Phase 2, and of course, tonight, the Davis lot improvements. So this is just a cross-section of the incredible topics that this group, under the direction of Melissa, works with. So I can tell you, this is a very, very busy board, and one that is required to do a lot of homework, to do the deep dive into our land use documents and our local laws. So what I can say is that this board is a group that is so up to the challenge, no matter what comes before them. Each person brings an essential view, important expertise, intelligent questions, and thoughtfulness about the impacts of whatever recommendations we make to the Board of Commissioners. It's been my great pleasure to serve as your chair, and I will miss my time with you on the second Tuesdays of every month. I would also like to thank our planner, Melissa Dickerson, and staff Jamie Whitley and Michelle Bunce, and of course, town manager James Ayers, for your professionalism and hard work. It's amazing how much you all get done. I would also like to say, working so closely with Melissa, you must have to clone yourself in order to accomplish as much as this job requires of you. I appreciate your perspectives, your availability, and your patience with me as I have tried to learn the complexity of land planning and zoning. I have watched you roll up your sleeves and do whatever is necessary for the town, and your great sense of humor always prevails. So from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank all of you for all that you do for Manteo. So that's all I had to say. So I'm going to then go to, if anybody else has something they want to bring up during commissioner reports, anything from the previous meeting that we just had, or we usually go one by one.
I've got one other thing. You were asking about the drainage.
Good.
There is a detail on here that shows each one of those oval sections at a little drain inlet. It shows you on the bottom of the page, it's got 4 inches of 1 to 2 inch round river rock.
Oh, I see
In
it.
that whole little basin.
Yeah,
And then the
right.
drain pipe itself, which is a perforated drain, is surrounded by 57 stone with filter fabric around it. So
Yeah.
that's gonna collect a lot of, any debris that's on there is gonna be collected before the water gets into the pipe and runs out of there.
That's where the grit and any of the pollutants would go. That's a very nice cross-section, the French drain section. Good point. Very well.
And the other comment is, we're gonna miss you, Sherry.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to miss you too. Tuesdays are not going to be the same without you. It's been a wonderful experience. Anyone else have any other comments that we need to look at?
Well, of course, I'm going to miss you too, but I'm going to make sure that somehow I see you.
Yes,
You will be a
absolutely.
commissioner. It's probably part of the job too.
Oh, well, believe me, I'm going to need all of you, and I am so hoping I don't have to turn in my zoning code book. I can keep it. I can't tell you, I use it. I look at it. It's really important to me. Yeah, no.
I got one of the old official ones.
Oh, that's nice.
We probably need
Just
to check
remember
your
us when we come before you.
Oh,
Becky gave me this a million years ago.
Oh, my
and
gosh.
I said, if I'm gonna be on the planning board, I gotta have a copy of the zoning.
Do you have the
code.
blue, oh, he's got the supplementals.
my gosh. And so how long have you been on now?
I don't even remember.
Wow. That's crazy. And that is an artifact, by the way, that one that you have. It is an artifact, a historic artifact.
But I take good care of it.
I can see that. You, like me, compiled with like this with books. Anyway, all right then. Well, I think the next order of business is adjournment.
I'll move that we adjourn.
We have a motioner for adjournment. Is there a seconder?
I'll second.
Okay, I'm going to take that as a unanimous. This meeting is adjourned.
See how I restrained myself there?